I did tell myself that I wouldn't spend too much time and money to build anything on this before I had sold the Discovery. But I kind of had to do some things. First off was obviously the paint job, but trust me, it's not an actual paint job. It's more of a temporary color change because the car looked kind of like shit when I picked it up. Like I mentioned before, the whole side of the car was covered with these really ugly checker plates that eventually corroded holes in the sides of the car. And those are not fixed, they're just temporarily patched up. And in addition to that, the paint was basically flaking off all over the car. So, like I said, this is kind of temporary just to make the car look less sad. But the nightmare of a paint job was nothing compared to the situation with the lights on this, because this car actually suits a patina paint job kind of well. But the situation with the lights on this was not really safe. And although I do really like the original lights on this, I went with a much more modern and fail-safe setup. The Land Rover series has originally somewhat of a jar design on all of the lights, which makes it really easy to just unscrew, change the bulb and then screw it back on. But they do stick kind of far out of the car and looks a bit off if you're used to the Land Rover Defender lights. And speaking of Defender lights, that's actually what these lights are. But originally they do have a solid color, either amber, red or a solid white for the front of the car. And I went with this clear black version for a reason that might sound kind of weird if you're not into photography, because the more colors you have spread out all over the car, the more annoying it becomes when you're going to sit down and actually edit pictures or videos of that car. As simple as that. Another reason why I chose both black and LED for this is because I'm not really building a original car, so it doesn't really matter if it's not stock. And since I'm kind of into details, when I replace the headlights for a more modern LED type, I kind of want all of the other lights to match that as well. Because the old ones were straight up dangerous at night. And although I do really like the warm yellow lights of an old car, basically because it looks good on photos, I felt I had to replace them because there's absolutely zero safety measures on this car. So at least having some visibility at night is the least I can do. And speaking of safety, I actually replaced both the seat belts with belts from a Toyota, because if there's one thing in the car I want to be reliable, it's the seat belts. After spending some time with this car, mostly stock, I've driven about 4,000 kilometers, and it's honestly not as bad as people claim it to be. But I do come from a luxury SUV, so this obviously feels very simple. But simple is actually the key. I've spent so much time and money on the Land Rover Discovery to make it into my dream travel setup, which it is. But after spending a bit of time thinking about this, I've decided that I don't really feel comfortable having a really expensive car and also a really advanced car, which needs super specific parts just to function as it should, which is completely opposite to this car because most parts is really easy to replace yourself with some basic tools, and it's also built to be maintained. A nice example of that is all of the differentials, transfer case and the gearbox use the same oil and the same tool for service, whilst the Discovery has different oil for all of these and the gearbox is also sealed for life, so it's not even meant to be serviced. But honestly, servicing a Discovery 4 is not a major task. It just takes some time to figure out how all of the different systems in the car is put together. And you kind of need to accept that you need very specific parts, and whilst they're often cheap, sometimes they're weirdly expensive. And although my Discovery is put up for sale, I've spent about €1,000 this week just to make it really solid and ready for a new owner. So tonight I'm going to replace the air tank and compressor for the air suspension. Hooray! And by the way, since the Discovery is now officially for sale, I had to make a list with all of the parts that I've replaced on that, and I'm not going to read the whole list, but it's basically all drive shafts, all bearings, all brakes, all bushes, all suspension arms. It has a new gear selector, compressor and air tank obviously for the suspension. New windshield last month or something. A bunch of new seals. It has been, like, the oil has been replaced every 9,000 kilometers since I bought it, and the mileage back then was like 120,000 and now it's at 275,000. Timing belts, obviously, water pump, oil pump, oil in the differentials, transfer, Super Pro poly bushes at the hydrophobic bushes at the front lower suspension arm, expansion tank with the sensor because that's a common fault, all the drop links, and all of the like unnecessary stuff as well. You have the 18-inch Tough Ant steel rims. It has a Pro Speed ladder, light mount at the roof and in the grille, as well as the roof rack obviously. The side racks from MP 4x4 or something, like a Polish side. It has the snorkel, max track, plus the whole max track rig at the rear that I never even got to use. All of the decals, extra lighting, and the whole two-tone paint job thing, which is clearly inspired by the original Land Rovers.